And welcome to a smooth talking episode of the Pink Boys podcast. We are minus an Australian, and I just wanted to mention, because I saw a few comments halfway through last episode, Adam, our Australian friend, just got off the podcast, and it was because he had to go somewhere. We knew that he had to leave, so it wasn't surprising that he left. I just think it's funny. Yeah, it's just 2/3 of the way through. He's just not talking anymore. And that's it. It's funny if we just told people, yeah, we ignored him the rest of the time. Just didn't turn off his mic or something.
We didn't even say he's leaving. He just left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could have at least said it in the little chat that we have during episodes to say, hey, guys, gotta get out of here. But no, he just disappeared. So just like an Australian man.
Goodbye, you know?
Yes, they do call it an Irish goodbye. And the opposite is an Italian goodbye, which is about a half hour of just saying goodbye, shaking hands, and doing what else. I'm always impressed by people that can. No,
Hold on.
That's
The Italian goodbye sounds exactly like the Chinese goodbye.
What's the Chinese goodbye?
Literally the same thing. We just take.
They bring out dogs on a platter and you say goodbye. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
Moya, have you ever been called a Guido before?
Of course. Are you kidding me?
What is a Guido?
So Guido is, unfortunately, it was popularized by Jersey Shore, which is and they're not even New Jerseyans on that show. They're from New York, right outside of the city, but they're in this area called Seaside filming the show. And it's just a exaggerated Italian American that's overly tanned and blow dried hair. And you know what phrase they popularized that I liked a lot, called GTL, Gym Tan Laundry. That's the ideal, which I can agree with. That is the ideal day in the life of a Guido or Guidette. So just remember GTL.
It's the hair,
I'm sorry,
like
but
the
you could never be
blowout
a Guido.
Yeah.
Where they have like
usually
they have like a exaggerated like confidence that you don't have. So
well, Guidos are usually North American. They're usually North Jersey / New Yorker trash, and South Jersey is the superior side of New Jersey. So yes, we do not associate with Guidos or Guido culture around here. We have a very different. South Jersey has this weird mix of wigger redneck beach culture that kind of meshes together. It's very strange, but it's its own world that we don't want to share with anyone, and there's nothing like it. So I'm happy about it. So yeah, they have like the blowout hair, and they're ultra jacked, and they usually abuse steroids. So I don't plan on doing that.
I'm going to say it straight up. Some of the, I guess you'd call it Guidettes, they look pretty fucking hot sometimes.
Snookies.
Oh,
no, not Snooky, but like some of the, I guess like I whenever I think of like a Guidette, I think of like Brooklyn. So like someone with like long nails and they talk like this, you know.
Oh,
you know what's crazy? Snooki looks a lot better now than she did during the filming of that show. She's gotten a little older and more mature. But yeah, Snooki, JWoww, all that. When you're from where I'm from, you do a check-in every 3 or 4 years just to, make sure your heritage in a good.
Right.
Even when you go overseas, people know like, oh, Jersey Shore. It's probably the most popular thing in the world from kind of around
the
where I'm
Queen,
from.
Prince Philip, Prince Charles, Prince William, and Snooki.
Honestly, you're not terribly far off. So, but before I go any further, yes, I am joined by myself, Tyson, and I. So it's the Magnificent Three, some would say, and we're here for a good time. Yeah. And something I wanted to lead off with, because Tyson mentioned it before we started, and we're talking about being tough Guido guys. Tyson mentioned something about a Pink Boys fighting championship. If you don't know anything about us, just tune out now. But Tyson, what did you mean when you brought that up? Are you challenging me, sir?
No, because you've been doing like some gym updates recently, and I would see in there like sometimes you'd put like boxing burned 200 calories, and I would get really, really like annoyed at that, because you'd say, "Oh yeah, I boxed for like half an hour and then I burned 200 calories," and I know for a fact that whatever you're doing is not fucking boxing, okay? Like you're probably doing some fucking Zumba shit or whatever, some like box fit class or what? So, it's not real boxing.
Hold on.
So that got me thinking about a Pink Boys fighting match.
Wait, are you saying 200 calories is a lot or not a lot?
It's not a lot.
Listen.
It's jack shit.
Well, it's not a lot when you eat like a pig, like you do. When you eat 2,000 calories in a day, you need to burn off 500. I stay around 1,400. So
My
not
issue
you,
isn't the
I'm talking
calorie
about Tyson.
count, okay?
Oh.
But my issue is that you say you quote unquote boxed for 15 minutes. You can't box for 15 minutes, okay? The warm up itself is like 15 minutes. So don't
Tyson,
do that.
I wear my Apple Watch that tracks your heart rate, which translates to calories burned, and it seems pretty accurate with it. So when I do 10 minutes, 1 minute break, 10 minutes, 1 minute break, 10 minutes, 1 minute break. That's a half hour of pure boxing. And honestly, when I'm done, my watch says I burn about 350 calories, but I'm conservative with myself and I leave it at 200. And that's all I'm trying to get out of it.
My issue isn't the calorie count. I don't count it. I don't care about that. But just don't call it boxing, okay? Because I don't
Excuse
think
me.
what you're doing
What would
is
you
boxing.
what would you like me to call hitting the heavy bag then? What would you like me to call that?
Call it like some Zumba shit, because that's what you're doing.
No.
Just call it the Guidos walk to the store.
Yep, call it something like that.
Tyson thinks he has ownership of this type of cardio for some reason because he pretended to go on a some sort of like Muay Thai, some like Muay Thai mecca for a month where he just chain smoked cigarettes and occasionally boxed. So I don't understand why. Yeah, I don't understand. And you know what? I'll even, let's say I argued in good faith and took your word for it, Tyson. I bet a mom in Zumba class or some sort of air boxing group class is burning more calories than you do when you take your fat ass to sparring. I guarantee
Again,
it.
I don't have an issue with calorie count, okay? I don't care about the calories, but I'm calling the actual activity itself.
Listen, you're both in completely different weight classes, okay? It's just like, it's for something.
Oh, that's for sure.
That's not what I was getting at, but like, it's a different type of like exercise,
Okay, what if I filmed myself for 10 minutes or 5 minutes of me boxing and see what you call that?
That'd be cool. I would like that. Yeah.
Okay. And the next stage in I'm not even going to call it boxing then, my air punching calisthenics is, I got these things called egg weights that my friend recommended to me. They're 1.5 pound weights that you hold while, shadow, not boxing. And it's really difficult. It takes a lot out of you. So I think it's a good workout. If you use them while running too, you feel like you're burning a lot more. So, I guess, Tyson, I would sit on these platitudes too if I saw someone actively losing weight while I couldn't. So I would just be like, well, he's not really boxing, so it doesn't count.
Okay.
So
don't be afraid, Mark. It's just Tai Chi. Should be done in 15. I'm done in 10.
Yeah.
Stick that up in dojo.
Just be sure to rename it warm up next time, okay? When you log in your
I'll say not boxing warm up 20 minutes and burning 100 calories.
I guess like those guys that buy like the fake army uniforms and then they get like exposed by fucking like real Navy Rangers.
I love those videos.
It's like I'm sort of experiencing that right now because I was in the trenches, dude. I had to warm up for like a fucking hour before I was allowed to like even start training in Thailand. So I just get really angry when I see someone say, "Well, I just did boxing for 15 minutes,"
So you're saying me putting on Lululemon gear and small boxing gloves and listening to shitty Critical Drinker after hours clips while boxing isn't the same thing as what you're doing? Is that what you're telling me, Tyson?
It's a bit off base. I'll say that. It's a bit off quarter.
So when I call myself a boxer, like you actually getting in the ring and do something, you're saying that's still about. That's fair. That's fair. I can walk away with that. Oh my goodness. All right. So yeah, Pink Boys Fighting Championship. Then so you're saying you could take me? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm not a real boxer.
I could take it. It's a matter of like how fast I can take you. But
okay.
What?
Yeah, what does that mean? I still think I could just run circles around the ring until you got tired.
See, that's the thing. Like I will easily admit that you have better cardio than me. So if you wanted to, you could just like run around and like not engage in the fight at all. But I wouldn't call it fighting. So I don't know.
That's fair. You are really honing in on the definitions here, and I'll let you go because we do need that objective truth in our workout regimen. So.
For what it's worth, if it was me and Tyson, I'd have to start using Spider-Man tactics or something. Like,
What are they?
Because
I could see, as Sony I could see him hopping around like a fucking spider.
I'd literally be like climbing the walls, like
Just on all
jumping
fours.
over Tyson. I'd be like mounting him like on his back, like Shadow of Colossus or something.
You are a little daddy long leg MFer. I think, there's definitely a lot of room for you to work with there. So, oh my goodness. All right, Tyson, I'll keep that in mind. We'll make it a surprise what I type next time. But I also noticed in that same chat where you hold each other accountable, you haven't put down any workouts that you've done in the past 4 weeks. So why don't you start doing that as well? Right?
Sure.
Okay. Walking to the door to get Uber Eats when we're between league games is not a workout, by the way.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
while we're-
I can just imagine like Tyson on like an Apple Watch, and it's like, oh, my Uber Eats is here. By the time he gets to the door, it's like the ring's closed.
Yeah. He sets the bar that low with the alert on.
The real reason is because I do like only weightlifting for the time being, so they don't have fucking calorie counts for that shit. So I don't know.
Tyson's steam level increases when he walks to collect his food.
Well, most people who, yeah, right. He unlocks achievements. That's what he thinks it is. But people who lift weights are usually fat. So that's the one I'm sticking with. That's the one that really gets.
Oh,
me.
you know what,
So-
dude. Okay,
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
Before we move on from this, you brought up something really good right there. Okay, I am so fucking done with masculinity copers trying to push, specifically like size-based weightlifting on young men, young men out there. And
No.
this is complete bullshit. Okay, if you say
Okay.
anything else besides health, which should be your number one priority, they want to look better. And what's going to make you more appealing to the opposite sex is not size, it's being lean and having lean mass. And with that, you are much better off doing calisthenics or something much more focused in cardio than you are on raw size-based bloat
I agree,
maxing
because
bulking.
when you pursue low body fat, it brings out the best features of your face.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
And it is how humans are meant to
Look,
thrive
I know
in
I'm not one
nature.
to speak, but like there is a line with that, right? Like if you're a fucking lanklet, you probably should like lift a couple weights just to like bulk up a little.
No, I
bit.
totally agree with that. Yeah, it's I prefer.
Sure.
I would rather, let's just say, I'd rather be toned with low body fat than be jacked. I just don't imagine myself
Yeah.
as a jacked person. But some people, it makes more sense.
And it's fine
So.
if you are jacked, but like the thing is, when you're pushing it on young people, you're basically encouraging them to like because it takes like to be jacked, like as in size and being lean. Like you have to go through the whole like bulk phases and all that, and you start bloat maxing, and it's like you're gonna end up looking worse, like for a good while.
Absolutely. You know what? Actually, I don't want to get too off topic, but you're bringing up something that I thought was interesting. I saw someone tweet the other day, and obviously it's a dime a dozen. This is what you should really do when you work out, accounts that are on Twitter. But one of them said something interesting. It said, if you make the gym your life, you're really pursuing something that's going to take away your life. You really only need to truly work out, let's say 3 to 4 times a week. Some people really only need to work out 2 times a week to pursue the body that
in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm starting to kind of get on board with that, because if you're constantly in the gym, it seems like you're using that. I mean, if you need it as an outlet, then that's good for you. I won't say anything about that. But at some point, it becomes too much of an addiction that you're being counteractive to letting your muscles heal, letting your body work in your sleep after you work out, because you just keep abusing it and abusing it and abusing it every day. I thought that was an interesting concept. So
I will say this though, the meme about like bodybuilders having body dysmorphia is not actually a meme. Like I've seen it happen firsthand, where someone like they start getting really, really into like bodybuilding, and then like they would be already jacked as fuck, and then they would like tell me in confidence, like, dude, I feel so fucking small and like a lanklet and shit. And I'm like,
that is
dude,
weird. Yeah, I don't know
you're
what
like
that is.
retarded.
Yeah, and the weirdest part about all of this,
Mhm.
the weirdest part is they don't do this for women. This is because of this is because of competition with other men, like the gaze of other men, like in
No,
a
it's-
really
it's
strange
not-
way.
it's not that.
It's like some homosexuality induced mental illness.
The real male gaze. Homosexuality
No, they don't do it for the
mental
male
illness.
gaze, trust me.
Oh, yeah. Well, as I will say, I have a little bit of body dysmorphia because everyone I know, most people I know that meet me, except one person that may or may not be in our Discord that just responds to what I say with as he just goes fat, which is funny. It's a way of calling me fat. But most people I know say that I'm skinny, and I'm the most athletic person on this podcast. And when I was younger, I was playing, soccer, tennis, lacrosse, all the classics, baseball, whatever else. And I'll never be in as good shape as I was then. I just never will be. But I feel like I can get there. So I feel like I'm attaining something I'll never get to because I don't have that same age or metabolism anymore.
Is that the source for your calorie counting cope? Is that why you're doing it?
Sometimes I do feel like I push myself a little too hard with it. Yeah, I do. So maybe it is a little bit of body dysmorphia.
Because what you're doing right now is like you're trying to get under 1,400 calories, which is like insane to me. Like if you're trying to achieve like the same body that you had back then, why not chill at like 2,000 a day, but then increase your cardio on the flip side so it matches that?
I've tried to do something like that, a variation of that before, but what happens is I overeat and think I can run it off. The only time I've truly found myself losing weight is when I've paid careful attention to what I've been eating. And there's a good man who listens.
You're already skinny, so what's the point?
I'm not as skinny as I want to be, so maybe that's the problem.
You're not skinny, and I don't say that in a bad way either. No. I don't say that in a bad way.
Oh no, he just flared up more.
No.
Yeah, hold on. Expand on that, please.
No, I was gonna say you're in great shape for your age. You got some.
He just keeps digging the hole.
No, listen. Well, I was just listen. You're not like anorexia tier like me. That's basically
okay. All right, that's fair. I guess I saying you're not that skinny compared to eyes like pencil figure. You're right. That's fair. You are. Agreed.
Honestly, I feel like my body's quite elusive. Like on the outside, you see my skinny wrists, and you think I'm really not that skinny. If I took my top off, I'd look a lot more normal.
Okay, well, yeah, this is the man talking about the homosexual gaze. That's what he has to say. So, all right, I wasn't planning to go this hard on the fitness advice, but I'll just do a quick shout out. There is someone that listens to this podcast. He's a good man. I guess I wouldn't say his name, but he's the one who got me started on the eating over workout thing. And it's worked for me. So I'm just going to keep going with that because anytime I've been like, oh, I'll just run 8 miles and eat whatever I want. That does not work.
Did you hear that?
It just doesn't
I
work.
heard that. Did you catch that, Moya?
What was it?
Someone just cracked open a can of something.
Oh, well, I've been sipping some ranch water, but I cracked that open earlier. So
who's slurping the carbs right now?
I drank from my like those 1 liter bottles that Moira hates. Does that count?
Based. I have one of those.
I won't do it now, but Tyson and I were having a very engaging conversation about energy drinks last night and which ones were good and which ones were bad. And I just want to do a quick shout out. There's this one called Rain. Not to be confused with someone who co-hosted this podcast before. REIGN, I think it is. Rain energy drink. It's very good. They got a gummy bear flavor, orange sherbet, all this stuff. No, they're not our sponsors, which would be awesome though. But I'm just saying they're the only thing to pull me away from White Monsters for a little bit, and I'm going in with them.
You have the classic like the White Monster Ultra Zero,
Slurpee Legends.
but then I'm getting back into fucking Red Bulls, dude. Red Bulls are key now.
Red Bull sugar free. Red Bull sugar free is really good.
Do you guys have Relentless Rockstar?
I'm not a Rockstar fan. Yeah. What is Relentless? I saw C4 by the way, Tyson. It looks
You should buy that.
Have you guys got Pussy energy drink?
I know that's a real thing, but no, we don't have that. That must break some type of consumer laws here because we're all Protestant broods in this country, as every country should be. But no, I didn't mean to derail with that. But I've just been a fan
pussy,
of this.
Man.
There we go. Yeah, works for them. So rarely, especially in the amount of time I've known Tyson, not much he says surprises me. But he gave me a few subjects that he wanted to talk about today, and one of them stuck out to me immediately. So I'll just read what I see on the description and then kind of let it go from there. It says Millie Bobby Brown engagement / ass eating TikToker. So that gave me a chuckle. So I got to know, Tyson. What's your angle here with this subject?
So I saw on Twitter that Millie Bobby Brown, at the age of 19, has been recently engaged. So someone proposed to her. It's the son of the guy from Bon Jovi, right? But I did some digging.
Oh no!
And apparently she was in a relationship with this TikTok guy a few years ago, and then he went on live stream and then he exposed her and said that she loved eating his ass. So
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Okay, so
Okay.
some lore I'm going to be quite careful of, but Millie Bobby Brown, or whatever the fuck her name is, grew up very, very close to where I live.
Really? Oh, that's so
Really?
funny.
Oh yeah, I often go by that school.
maybe you
every
have
now and then.
the trait as well.
No,
So-
no.
He does just, hold on. So
No, stop.
her last name, well, look, there's a lot of different directions I can go with this, but the obvious one, she likes eating ass and her last name's Brown. Really, that's
Oh,
not bad, right?
I didn't even make that
Obvious
connection.
joke right there. Yeah. So I didn't know when you wrote ass eating TikToker that you were describing an action that she does. I thought there was a TikToker that ate ass that she was somehow associated with, but it turns out she's the one who's doing it. So
Oh yeah,
I
she's
didn't
getting
know
down
that-
in there.
I didn't know that girls did that to guys. Maybe that's my American Protestantism coming out again, but I thought guys just did that to girls.
Dude,
Really, I
Okay,
didn't know.
I might be at the risk of exposing myself, but it's a lot more common than you would think, especially in New Zealand. Like half-
Eating my ass, it's more
half-
common than you think.
half of my friends have gotten their ass eaten by their GFs.
Really
Yeah. I could
interesting. Would they like to do a survey?
Never.
Dude, honestly, I had it done to me once. It feels pretty fucking good. I'm gonna say
Guy or
that.
girl?
Isn't
Okay,
that
really?
a form of sodomy?
Yeah, maybe there's something that's wrong about that.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, it
Look,
seems like
I'm
a
just gonna
very
say,
strange
don't-
inversion of
Don't
nature.
don't knock it till you try it. Okay, it feels pretty strange.
I don't even
but,
want to knock it either.
Well, you know what I do think is really childish that people, especially at my age, need to get over. And I'm not the most sexually explicit person, but when anal sex comes up, people still make the same comments that they made when I was in middle school. So, oh, you're going to get poop on your dick, or, oh, this, that, and the other. They all still say those same things. That's very rarely
I
not
still
even a
say that.
thing. Yeah, it's not a thing. It's a very childish trait to still think that way. Anal sex is a good thing. I'm sorry. It is a good thing.
Also,
It's strictly forbidden,
It feels good.
Mr. Protestant.
okay, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that it's fucking overrated. It doesn't even feel. It feels better, but it's not like fucking 2x better. It's like 10% better.
Yeah, but there's a weird dynamic where it's kind of painful for the girl, and I think that she enjoys the pain of it because it like arouses her sexually in a different way if she likes it. I mean, most girls don't like it, but there are a few that I've met, so that's how it goes. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that Millie Bobby Brown is going in that direction. So maybe she's doing that with her new guy, or is there a video of this TikToker saying that, or what's?
Oh
what's
yeah,
going
there's
on
a
there?
video of that, and
Okay.
you know her husband's gonna be like really relaxed when he goes into work in the future. He just has a really big smile on his face for some reason.
Yeah. So he eats his breakfast while she eats her breakfast before work. Is that how it's going to go? So, Tyson, I had no idea. I thought you were going to say like, oh, she got engaged. Or that seemed like to be most of the commentary about why isn't she living more of her life? What more of a life can a British person want to live? Just get married at 19. There's nothing out there. What are you going to go to, Newcastle and have a pint? Like, what the fuck are you going to do? Just get
Honestly,
married.
getting married at 19 is a major W, so I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Well, you're going to say I? Sorry, you're incredulous right now.
You don't know what it's like to be in the UK. He thinks like just.
At a loss
Average
for
British
words.
man. Yeah,
At a
he
loss
said
for
that-
words for his own nation.
yeah. This is what living in the UK brings people to. Just
Listen, man. As of lately, I mean, today I woke up this morning and someone in our Discord server, which by the way, our net worth is well over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Someone posted a meme and tagged me in it, and it was something like a 26-year-old or something, and it ruined my fucking day. It basically was pointing out how, like, at that point, your body's showing showing signs of neglect, and how like girls look at you as a father figure rather than someone that they would
But you're not
date
even 26
in
though.
rebellion. I know I'm not, but I'm 25 in August this year, and I'll be 26 next year. So it's dawned on me now that I have just over a year left until it is well and truly over for me as a young man.
People who fear getting older in that sense are people who are not living their lives at the fullest.
Of course I'm not. Yeah, listen. Yeah, you're right. Of course I'm not. So for one, how many years of my life did I fucking lose to something I'm not going to talk about? And then there was COVID. And don't even get me started on fucking the crypto shit. Just
I have seen. We have yet to see the long-term ramifications of people going through the most important years of their life in COVID and making weird grumbling noises like that.
At least 2 years of every young person in this generation has been lost. Like there's quote unquote best 2 years of their life. 2 years deleted. I am spiritually right now 22.
Well, actually, that is a kind of a good point, because
and then when I
don't feel 26. It feels fucking weird. It feels like I'm still like.
It's like, you know, unironically, I hate that I'm bringing up this fucking comparison, but you know the blip in you know, after Infinity War.
Sure, yeah.
You know how like they have like some weird thing going on where it's like young people are now older than their older siblings.
Oh, okay,
that kind of thing. It's kind of like that, but it's like, you know how like in the past everyone's like, oh, when you're a young adult or whatever, when you're in your 30s, you feel like you're 16. Right, like right now, you know, there's an actual case to be made that everyone feels 2 years younger now.
That I couldn't speak to, but I will say, recommended by someone who co-hosted the same guy, Rain. He gave me this book, he recommended me this book, Culture of Narcissism, and it has a segment on why people who are narcissists fear aging, because they don't have the fulfillment in life besides what they see in themselves or what they see in the mirror when they look at themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't have, especially since we only record history through cameras now, we don't look back on life experiences as we get older and look at them. We don't cherish them. We look at them in a different way now. We look at them through this narcissistic lens where it only applies to ourselves and how much worse off we are now because we're losing the things that we thought we valued when we were younger. So it's a really, obviously it's one of my most highly recommended books, but maybe you could be going through a version of that. And when I read that part, I was like, man, that is kind of me a little bit. There's parts of me that are afraid of it. I mean, look at me. I just talked about the body dysmorphia thing earlier. Yeah, there's parts of that come out for everyone. So
all right, allow me to red pill you on the real 26, which is actually 36. Because if you think about it, when you turn 36, you're like, on the latter half of your 30s, you're close to 40, and then once you hit 40, it's really fucking over at that point. It's the point of no return, dude. So
what is that? Nah, the only one I'm truly fearful of is 50. There's some people who are 38, 40 who are still effing around, like being goofballs and like, yeah, I'm 40, but I'm a weirdo, whatever. But when you're 50, it's not funny anymore. Like the shit is not funny anymore. I'm sorry.
I mean, here's some copium. That epigenetics is nailed down to the bone, and allele aging can be reversed, and we can all be young again. 2, there's TRT, which if you take in like your 40s or 50s, you will look great.
You're supposed to naturally age gracefully. That's why we sit back.
Fucking
it is
cope.
so why is it boomer? So you're saying it's okay when people get these just drastic plastic surgeries or buccal fat removal, or what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
All right, if you're talking about stem cell therapy, then I actually agree with you. That shit's based.
Yeah, that's fair.
But more, you're saying like 50 is like the age of no return. It's like that's true. It stops being funny at 50, but then it actually comes back around and becomes funny again at 75. So there's another like revival, small revival that you have towards the end of your life.
Well, it's so funny because you guys know how old I am. Let's just say I am above 30. I still dress like a van skater punk. So, I mean, am I going to do that when I'm 40? Am I just going to wake up when I'm 40 or 45 and start putting on slacks and a button up? I don't think so. I'll probably still keep dressing the same way. But when I'm 50, I don't know. I don't think I can get away with the ripped jeans and tie-dye Vans long sleeve anymore. I don't think I can
Quite
keep
easily
doing
just
that.
dye your hair and LARP as a 20-year-old though.
It
At
depends.
50,
No,
Anon.
maybe the way I look now, possibly, but not at 50. It's kind of over. I'll try and look 40.
Dude, I know
maybe.
people younger than me that look older than you.
Yeah, I'll take that. But my big thing is, and I always talk about aging gracefully and all that stuff, and I never talk about it because I think it's bad luck, but the hair thing, that's got to be tough. I know, you knew it. Yeah, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. That I don't know how. I haven't experienced it yet. Yeah, I guess so, but
fucking do it, man. There's no shame in it. No shame.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm all good right now, but
apparently,
it can change on
if
a
you
dime.
don't lose your hair at the age of 27 or 28, you're Gucci until like you're 45. Apparently,
No, I was the one who told you this, Tyson.
Yeah.
It's you would have lost 80% of what you're genetically determined to lose by 35. So if you make it to 35, beyond that, you'll maybe lose 20% more, and that's it.
It's so funny
really?
that guys
That's
make fun
fucking
of
based.
guys make fun of girls for astrology and horoscopes, and then guys spread the most ridiculous wives' tales about losing your hair. It's like,
dude, how fucked up is it that we can, like, as a species, we can go to the fucking moon, but we can't figure out how to grow hair, like regrow hair on our
The way
heads?
you
Like, what
said
is
that.
I
really?
maybe.
I have something to say
Maybe keeping men bald is a form of humiliation ritual that keeps them subservient. It's like, well, I guess I'll just keep going to work for the rest of my life and work really hard because I'm bald, and that's it. You know,
what annoys me is, you know, those like eat meat guys on Twitter and stuff. You see the trad larpers. I've seen threads about them saying how like, oh, nowadays like balding is like a prevalent thing. It didn't ever used to be that.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
cute picture of Jason. Yeah, then they post
like,
a picture of Jason Statham.
Yeah,
and
it's
Jude
like,
Law.
hold on, like you are the same people that like have like profile pictures of Greco-Roman statues. Like just take a good look at those and note that like a good 75% of them are also bald. You're telling me they were also
Alexander's hairline was
consuming
busted.
fucking bug fluid and seed oils and goy slop?
I do believe
But
the
then
seal
again-
thing, though. So
Then again, at the same time, back in Greek times, or let's just say medieval times, were they really looking at each other and saying like, "Oh my God, look at the top of his head"? Like, what's that really going on? I don't know if they minded it. Maybe it's like a modern vanity issue that we have going on now.
But then again,
but,
they had a patrician taste in let's
maybe
say,
they didn't lose their hair in Greek times because they had pederasty going on. You know, just just busting a nut in like a young man. Just that does keep your hair on your head.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're like androgynous little boys.
I can't
as well.
condone. Just for the record, I can't condone that commentary. That's all Tyson. So, thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say they were like androgynous little boys as well, so they probably looked like
You just made it worse.
they probably look like prime girls. Wait, how old are they?
Dude, ancient Greece has to be like the most relaxed city of all time in human history.
You know, one of the most interesting writings I've ever written was that apparently
that you've ever written?
No, not that I've ever written.
I didn't know we had a regular Aristotle on our podcast.
We have an Ari of some sort.
Yeah. Nice.
So apparently the Greeks were known as like Chads or whatever. Apparently like the gene pool of said Chads are actually like extinct because they were so gay. Like they do not exist anymore. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking.
Me on the left.
I'm not joking. Those like Chads, those like pioneering Chads are they're an extinct species by them.
So I have two things to say about that. Amazingly, why do I have a list of things to say about that on deck? I don't know, but I thought this was a really
genetic memory kicking in. Is this Assassin's Creed moment?
Yeah. I always thought an interesting interpretation of being gay was on the show American. It was a season of American Horror Story Cult where there was a very good-looking male character who was a detective, and he's like. He was getting like inducted into this cult, and the cult leader was reeling him in by, kind of telling him that he's in denial about being gay, and his reasoning was, this guy was so attractive, he had sex with 2 or 3 different girls at night, he could get any girl he wanted, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, you ever feel like these women just aren't man enough for you, and there's no man who's like strong enough to like, there's no woman who's strong enough to match your manliness, so you need another man? And the way he framed it was really interesting, convincing, and engaging. I didn't say that. I just said it was more. Well, it's better than when I'm watching some random other show and they're like, "Oh, this guy's gay now, tee-hee," and then they kiss because the writers are like, "Hey, let's get him. Let's get those little bigots." There was actually a really interesting way to introduce homosexuality to a character, and maybe that's the way men felt, especially Spartans, who people claim to say they have sex with each other before battle. But maybe it's something like that. Like, my wife can't make me feel like the man I am that you can. You know what I mean? So whatever.
What a peep show approach for like just one day. Just one day, Mark was just looking at a camera, only to see his roommate walk into his room with another man and just do it.
Oh, did Jez did that?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I
thought you were talking about how Mark pretended to be gay because he liked Sophie. But go ahead, Tyson.
Oh no, that's Alan.
I have a kind of related story to this. So when I was like a really young kid, like I was still in elementary school, for some reason I think it was like an early season of like RuPaul's Drag Race, and it was like, I'm sure you guys know, on that show, like all the guys there are gay. Like there's not a single straight person on that show. And I distinctly remember them asking this one question during like a talk show section, saying, "Oh, no. which guy would you go gay for?" Like, with the knowledge that like everyone on the show was gay. But I thought that was normal. So I went to elementary school. Fun. I went to elementary school and I asked like random people that same question, like, "Oh, which guy would you go gay for?"
That actually explains a lot about Tyson's childhood experiences.
Interesting that children's shows that pose questions like that are affecting young children, even back then. So just my second point was, because I did have 2 points, but this one doesn't have to do with homosexual Greek men, which I know you guys want to talk about. But so before, let's just say, Roman culture, which is basically a copy pasta of Greek culture before they converted to Christianity, they
just shaved. That's all they did.
Pretty much. So it was a form of paganism, and obviously Greek mythology is incredibly interesting, but did they really believe all of that, or is that just their way of looking at weather through a mythological lens? Like, did they? It's the same thing with Indian people. Do they really? They obviously don't believe in Vishnu and all that.
I know a little bit about this actually, and you'll be surprised to know that originally, all of those pagan religions were actually somewhat adjacent to the same kind of origins as Abrahamic religion. So a lot of paganism originates with the Vedas, and then off of that you had things like Zoroastrianism and Hinduism, and then like predating that you also had like predating the Vedas as well. They were like, it's like a super ancient like thing. Like from that came paganism, and then like later on Christianity came along, and then it went all the way back, and then like took from that and then built upon that even more. And then
it was interesting. There was a girl I was hanging out with for a little bit who was Zoroastrian, and I thought that was
that's cool.
I thought that was interesting. But when I read about, she gave me like a book, and I was reading about Zarathustra, and it was almost, no, that's part of the title of his book. Zarathustra is like the messianic figure in Zoroastrianism.
He talks
about
the
book by Nietzsche. Is that the one?
I wasn't reading the. I know you know the title of a Nietzsche book. All right, we know you're all smart. All right, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that. No, I'm not. I'm not smart.
The thing is that in the book Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he is talking about like Zoroastrianism, the idea of.
You're not smart enough to know what he's talking about in that book, and I don't either.
I read into
okay, sure you do.
Iranic paganism.
All right. So I just wanted to say. Put that in your Necronomicon and smoke it.
Well, they have the same origin, so sure.
Okay. I just wanted to point out that Zarathustra's story was very similar to Christ's. It's very similar.
Yes.
The stories have a lot of alignments, and it's almost like, and I really don't want to get Ari started on this. I just wanted to say that what you're saying kind of not proven, but it kind of wanders into the idea that every single major religion has a flood origin story per se. A lot of them have a story about a great flood covering the earth, and I find that incredibly interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not looking at it from an apologetic standpoint.
Are
I
you
believe what
familiar
I
with
believe. I'm a
Kemetism?
Christian.
Kemetism, the neo-pagan religion of Egypt. You might,
With like Horus and all that.
yeah,
Or...
you might find
yeah, of course.
you might find some similarities between Christ and I think it's Osiris.
Even
or
his
is it Ra?
story.
It's either
I don't
Osiris
think
or
it's
Ra.
Ra.
No, it's
Yeah,
probably
I
Ra.
couldn't say off the top of my head, and I don't want to
Ra's
guess.
al
But
Ghul.
yeah, where he goes into their version of the underworld and comes back, etc.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like Talos. In
I
Elder
read
Scrolls.
something about the whole underworld thing. You know Ezekiel. Was it Ezekiel?
The one who saw the crazy spaceship.
No. Oh fuck, which one was it? It was that one gospel that was like significantly like cut from the Bible. It talks about how like
Enoch.
Enoch, yeah, the book of
no,
Enoch, yeah.
The Book of Mormon, isn't it?
No,
I saw a bunch of really cute Mormon girls walking around the city. They travel in packs of 3, and they were, man, they know what they're
Perfect.
doing. But keep going.
Perfect. I'll take a note of that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Book of
They would never
Enoch when he
touch
goes
anyways.
into the underworld and all this and that, and like see stuff. I think that stuff is really interesting.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. So do we have any further commentary on the religion multiverse and Greek sexuality? I forget what even got us on that subject, but I think it flowed. Because we are talking about serious stuff, and we're a global podcast, so we're concerned with the global issues, including religion and economy. So I did see that Tyson wrote down, and I actually had a few people mention this to me before just to make conversation about current events, but I believe, and this comes up every 4 or 5 years, but maybe they're serious this time. It seems that we're being led to believe that the all-important military-industrial complex petrodollar that runs America is being threatened on a global scale right now.
Big time.
And
big time.
And I'll tell you real quick, Tyson, before you let us know your thoughts, that a lot of people that normally wouldn't know about this are bringing it up to me. More normal, non-plugged in, non-terminally online people are starting to bring up the petrodollar. So it's becoming a normal subject in our cultural lexicon. So Tyson, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's finally reached the Overton window.
There we go.
But yeah, in the past month or 2 months, China's made some insanely fucking aggressive moves. Based China, by the way. But I think they secured a natural gas deal with France, and it was explicitly to be paid in the Chinese yen. They made and then Iran, they had this beef with Saudi Arabia, and China they came in and basically fucking like solved the beef, which was there for like a decade standing. Yeah. So I think in the past month,
the Chinese say all great battles are won without fighting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that what they say?
So China's been acting more and more as the second pole of the world, which
maybe they'll.
I'm all for it, dude. I just want something to challenge the fucking global homo of America.
Well, okay, good. Yeah,
sad to say.
You were doing well until the end. You were actually, that was fully your own formed thoughts until the end there. But no, I get what you're saying. Maybe what if China came in and solves the Israel-Palestine conflict as well?
They might.
Be epic.
Well, you know that Pepsi commercial where Kylie Jenner or whoever it is comes up and snaps open a Pepsi? It was taken off the air. That's what they're gonna do, except with a bowl of dog.
Pepsi money doesn't go to Israel, does it? But Coke money does. It's like a whole.
I don't know.
Do you not know?
Pepsi's pretty big.
There's law in the Middle East where it's like they don't sell Coke because of money going to Israel.
Really?
Only do Pepsi.
Are you serious? Am I about to do a Coca-Cola anti-Semitism deep dive?
Do it right now. I swear I've seen it with my own eyes.
Wait, because Coca-Cola donates to... Okay, I won't do too much of it. I'll look it up later, but first off,
I think the general thought is that like people have been talking about this for a while, about like the age of like unipolarity ending, and I think we're finally seeing like a real transition to multipolarity. People have been talking about it for a long ass time, and I think it's finally here. You know,
what does that term mean for the uninitiated? Multipolarity.
So unipolarity means like there's one unchallenged superpower that leads the world, and multipolarity means that there's multiple poles and multiple spheres of influence in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's out of the question to see maybe 20 years in the future. You have the Western pole with like America, Western Europe, and all that, and then you have the Eastern pole with like China, Russia, and Iran as the second pole.
Yeah, the thing that gives this credence more than in the past 10 or 20 years is that most of the time they would say they were trying to find a way for common ground between Russia and China and their currencies. That's not enough to challenge the petrodollar. But when you bring in these other countries and they start trading off of it, that's what makes me listen. So when you say countries like France or Iran or any other ones that
Turkey
are
as
kind
well.
of thrown in the mix. Well, okay, well, who can? They're not going to move the needle either way, but an irrelevant country. So,
Saudi Arabia.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. So, yeah, I mean, that again, maybe I'm defending a global American position, but maybe in order for us to maintain our power on the world stage, we have to have these overseas engagements, have to have this overseas presence just to keep our country on top. Because people always say something like, why does America need to do all this? It's like, well, when you're the number one country in the world, at least in an economic sense, everyone's always after you. So that's why you do have to have 20 bases around Iran. Or, people say, why do we have 20 bases in Germany? Because you need to maintain a global presence because you're the most powerful country in the world. And if some shitty country like Denmark isn't, then too bad for them. So it's going to see. I'm interested to see how it plays out over the next 5 to 6 years, because I've seen Russia and China threaten that multiple times, but America's in a different position than it was 10 or 20 years ago. So it'll be fun to watch.
It's finally coming.
The end of the American dog.
I can feel it coming in the anyway.
So, as our British representative, would you join the yuan, ruble, petrodollar? Is that what it is?
That's a good question.
Well, you already still are confused about pounds and euros over there. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
you guys just Brexited, so you have a lot of choices. You should go shop the currency market.
No, the ties between the UK and America is too strong. They would never do that.
I guess so.
Really, you think different?
I don't know. Mean, it's up there.
Meghan Markle and Harry aren't helping things too much.
Yeah.
So, our relationship is strained.
Here's the thing. The UK, through and through, at least a lot more explicitly than it is in the US, is zogged to the tits by WEF fellas. Whatever they want, they will get. No. I'm not saying this as like a meme or whatever. It's just like everyone is aware of it in this country. Like, it's not even hidden. You literally see people just speaking about it openly in public with like signs up. It's not even a meme anymore.
You know what I do appreciate about your country as compared to mine, and I took advantage of it while I was over there. People don't have mental breakdowns or conniptions over, the usual culture war topics that we have in America. They can actually speak plainly in fully formed sentences about Trump or, people that do know about racial relations or police brutality. They can speak and communicate like normal people, as opposed to America, where it's about 30 seconds into a conversation before someone starts screaming, because our brains are so diluted by whatever media complex we're exposed to daily. So maybe that's just British reservation or something. But people were like that in Paris as well. They were able to hold conversations that were pretty normal and just be like, yeah, we don't like this, we like that, So you can't do that in America. It's just not like that.
I think you just got lucky meeting good people. You definitely
Really?
get those. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot less common here, but you still very much get those nutcases rolling around.
Am I really supposed to still take this? What is it everyone goes on about? Is his name what's Charles Hoskins or who's what's this WEF guy? No. Yeah, you're right.
Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Schwab. I said Charles Hoskins.
How did you get those?
I don't know. That's an old school Pink Boys slip up there. So, am I supposed to? What is this whole Klaus Schwab, like, are we really doing this? You know,
I think it's like, I think he's a bit of a boogeyman. He's very in your face. I think he's supposed to be in your face.
yeah,
So they can do shit a lot worse than that.
yeah, because George Soros, a popular right-leaning, well, he's a boogeyman to people on the right. He does quite actually fund aggressive DAs that cause noticeable
Yeah, I don't think
damage
he
to our
deserves the term
communities.
boogeyman. He actually is behind the stuff that.
Yeah,
they claim.
he is quite like you can trace it quite easily. But I just get kind of sick of this
Just
world.
look at
like,
his fucking face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. But when people talk about this WEF stuff and they go to these summits and they're like, look at what the evil they're doing. I was like, I think this is just extremely wealthy people who are just kind of naive about their God complexes that they have. I don't think there's what they're trying to do is usually stupid and probably won't work. But we place a little bit too much. We give them too much credit as these nefarious villains when I really think they're just the kind of people where it's like, oh, we got to fix global warming and everyone should be free. It's like a weird nod to neoliberalism, like wealthy neoliberals. It's a lot exciting.
I feel like they actually do have nefarious incentives. Like, I do believe that there is like a really thick class divide. Like, people that go to the WF conferences, I don't think they would shake hands with like a coal miner or anything like that. I think they would spit on them.
Yeah, of course, but that's called that's hierarchy and class. But I don't know. So they in their naivety, in their position and status, think that they can solve the world's problems. But instead, we look at them and we're like, oh, they want us to live in cages and they want to like suck our dicks through a socket. I don't even
think all of their ideas are horrible. Like, smart cities sound great. Yeah,
you know, I'm a fan of 15 minutes, and then there was one I saw like the conservative side of Twitter complaining about it. Is cities where you have to check in by going through a turnstile, so it's effectively a border controlled city.
That's
and the right is
thing.
like, yeah, and I was like, if you lean a little bit to the right, isn't that kind of what you want? That's what I want, dude. If someone had to go through a turnstile to enter the block that I'm on in this city, that would be awesome. I feel like everyone that comes in and out of the block.
How is that a good thing? Sick. How is that a good thing though? I don't want my movements being tracked and all that shit, you know?
Dude, you own a cell phone. It is too late for you. It is too late for you.
Bro, they know your heart rate if you have a smartwatch. You know how crazy that is?
You could put your phone on airplane mode and shut it off for the next 20 days. They will still know everything about you, everywhere you went and everything you did. You're done.
Are you familiar with the CIA's Lodestar or whatever it's called?
Uh-oh. Careful. Hold on. I think something there. Hold on, I'm getting a call. I just saw a black intermission. No, go ahead.
There's a triangle above my house right now.
Yes, say it in coded language so we don't get flagged. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know how like Google Earth, right? You just like kind of zoom in and see shit. Well, it's like that, but like real time and like really detailed. That's
really?
Real. I didn't realize
they have real time Google Earth, really?
Oh, did the CIA have like real time like detailed Lodestar, like, I don't know how the fuck they do it, but they've got it.
So the people who get away with things, they're probably letting them get away with it, because the fact that we have Google Earth means that they have something 20 times better. It's a classic adage.
No, but it's the
military has
coupled. Imagine that coupled with AI. You literally have like an eye in the sky watching you everywhere.
Dude, it's okay. Let me verbalize my thoughts. It's like right now the technology we have, like, yeah, sure, cell phones can track where everyone on the planet goes, but the power to do that only rests at like the fucking top, right? Like, you have to be like you have to be like somewhat in the CIA to fucking like have the location of someone. But if you have like the turnstile for a border controlled city, even like your fucking like retarded like librarian who's like a city council member, she can have that info as well. I don't want that person to have that information. So, you know?
Tyson, some fat neckbeard with glasses probably knows how big your dick is just from your phone, and he worked at Apple for 3 weeks.
Tyson, you regularly post your like address, your credit card details, and your passport in like public domains with us.
And you know what, Tyson? I bet you, if I were to take a poll of people who live in the suburbs, if they had a tracker for everyone that went in and out of their cul-de-sac, they would love that. They would love that for their kids, their community, and their family. And if they voted on it and they approved it and maybe pay for it in their taxes, then what's to stop them? Why not?
Are you cool with like the NSA like spying on your fucking online shit?
Tyson, they're already doing doing it. It's too late. I'd rather have something that at least lets me know who's coming in and out of my community. Sure.
I know they're already
not?
doing it. So, but are you cool with it then? With giving your logic?
Listen,
No, I'm not
Tyson,
cool with it.
Tyson,
It's too
I'm
late
gonna,
now.
So
I'm
why are
gonna
you cool with
introduce
this?
you to something.
Because it's about community more than
Tyson,
just being tracked on your
wear
cell
like wear silver clothing and line your house in silver.
Tyson said, Ari, what if you're very sly about it and just say, so what you do is you take some home tin foil, you crumple it up, and you put it on your head in the shape of a ball. Yeah, and Tyson's like, I'm a tinfoil hat wearing idiot. I didn't even know it. So, oh my goodness,
Tyson, what you need to do is go on Alibaba right now and buy lots and lots of lead. I just hope it doesn't get stopped at the border.
So Superman can't see through it. There you go. Lead lined walls.
Yeah, should I buy some uranium-235 as well?
Oh yeah, go. Yo, dude, I saw this thing the other day. Someone traveled to Chernobyl. They took a what the fuck they call it? A Geiger counter, and they spent like 3 days just like scanning around this field until they found like a little ball of pure uranium. And they took it home with them.
Oh my
Really?
god, dude, that just
Yeah.
reminded me.
It's just like there's no point in doing that. But he did.
Dude, I've been watching like some live streams from this retarded Russian guy. Dude, he's like the king of like fucking like self-harm, right? So this guy, he like for some reason duct taped his entire body, and that's like his only form of protection. Went into Chernobyl with just that on his body, and he jumped in like some of the pools where the reactors were. And he was just swimming around in that.
So funny. Well, again, you know what they love to say about 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, Fukushima. We've yet to see the full effects of it. We've yet to see the full effects. Wholly exaggerated, completely exaggerated. The amount of deaths, deformities, all this stuff that comes from these incidents, it's so unbelievably low. It barely even happened. The amount of deaths at Chernobyl happened from fighting the fire, not being well equipped to do it. There haven't been recorded deaths at 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, Fukushima from actual radiation and nuclear fallout. But
Cancer
we're just supposed to
skyrocket.
Did it?
Yeah.
It?
Yeah, it did.
I don't. I'll do my homework on that one. I might be spreading false news, but I don't care. But what were you gonna say?
So speaking of disasters, are you familiar with the hole in the coastal Northwest California? So in the sea,
I
in the
can
ocean
make some
floor,
jokes here.
there is
I'll
a
hold
hole
back.
there, and there is some gay geography stuff going on. But basically, there's a very good chance that we are due.
Whole
Well, when
gay
I say
geography.
you are due for like for the first time in like 300 years or whatever, a magnitude 9 earthquake that would quite literally sink LA.
Let's hope. Yeah,
Good, yeah.
seriously.
And it would send
all for it.
shockwaves. It would send shockwaves throughout the entirety of the US. Like it would be unbelievably disastrous. And interestingly, talks of this stuff, like now there's like the signs of like the beginning of this actually taking place in the form of like some kind of tectonic fluid leaking through this hole. But but the interesting part is that real estate in the super duper rich is being sold off around now.
Oh, you think they're signaling that? It's kind of like when they were buying.
I mean, that
underground
could just be like
bunkers.
the liberal exodus from California to fucking Texas, right? That could just be the reason
Oh
why.
God, Texas is already filled out now too. What a
Yeah, but I mean, we're
miserable
talking about
state.
celebrities as well, though. People that like
yeah, but
live, breathe. Hollywood.
celebs are doing that as well. They're fleeing California.
Why?
No, I think I like the angle that I is going with. Tyson's leaning in too far in the conservative angle here. You know,
I would
they're all
quite
going
like
to
to
Texas because those libtards in California. Yeah, we get that,
I
but
would
I
quite
think
like
I
to
is
see
making
California.
I'm not
broader
ascribing any politics to it. I'm just saying, like, isn't that what is happening?
No, I think I is making people who like live and breathe LA. They're not going to leave there unless they really feel like something's happening. So I is just implying that they know something that we don't, which might be possible. But most of those people, I do think it's interesting. A lot of them end up settling up in Montana. That's a huge
Yuck.
celebrity retiree state. Colorado already had an exodus. That place has been hollowed out. Texas is one of the most miserable states I've ever been to. I don't understand how people enjoy being there, but yeah, you've yet to experience.
I used to watch,
it,
like, when I was a kid, I used to watch all these documentaries about like being addicted to heroin, and it would always be set in fucking Montana. And they would paint Montana as like this state where like it's just comfy, everyone's on like fucking heroin, it's like rural. But now it's sad to hear that it's being shutted up by people from LA. So
It's all
unfortunate.
wealthy rancher larpers. You know, people who are wealthy celebrities.
No more
and they
heroin
say,
chads. L.
No, they're all in Upper Appalachia
one-
or West Virginia now.
No one really
Cooking
got
that
onto
good
heroin.
stuff.
No one ever gets like goes directly to heroin. Like they always start off with, like they break a bone and they get on
It's oxys,
painkillers
yeah.
and they
Okay, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity because it was something that we were just talking about earlier, and maybe this could be an impromptu intervention. So
Sure.
for me, I'm requesting an
Yeah.
intervention from
Yeah.
you two. I don't
Is
know
that
what
how it
I'm in
works?
for, but I'm just going to say it. I haven't been feeling quite myself the past few weeks. I went through a lot of difficult things. Not super tough, but enough to kind of throw off the wiring of my usual life. And I started, just because I see it passed around online a bit. I took a few of these, and I don't know the way to say it. They're called Phenibut.
Phenibut, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been taking a few of those 250 mg pills of those, and I gotta tell you, and again, I don't smoke weed. I don't do regular drug usage. I actually don't even drink that much anymore. I just work out a lot during the week. Maybe I have 2 or 3 drinks on the weekend, hanging out with people. You know, pretty well adjusted. Don't have an addictive personality. But I started hitting these things maybe 1 or 2 a day for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and I gotta tell you, they really chill you out. The thing I've noticed the most is I'm able to, and I don't have social anxiety. I'm a pretty extroverted person, but I'm able to tolerate what people are saying to me better instead of getting bored instantly. The normal guy that I talk to at the bar be like, "Oh my god, well this guy just shut the fuck up already." Instead, when I'm on that, I'm like,
You were
"Oh,
actually
that's
engaged.
interesting." Yeah. Yeah, I actually communicate like a normal person. I'll be like, "Oh my god, can this dude shut up and just leave me alone?" So it's been helpful in a lot of ways. But from what I've been hearing so I'll just describe some of the things that go on. It relaxes you. The way I could describe it is that it feels like an Advil for my brain. It feels like an ibuprofen for your brain. If your brain is like pulsing and giving you a
Saying
hard
it's
time,
psychoactive.
Sure, if that's the way you want to describe it, you're probably right about that. So it makes me only think about one thing at once instead of my mind racing. So maybe it does dumb you down that way. So what's the warning here? What am I doing wrong, guys?
So-
What
All I'm
path
gonna
am I
say
heading
is
down?
that
So for
I
context-
searched up Phenibut. I saw that it's like addictive, and you need to relax on your dosage because from what you're telling me, you're taking way too much.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I'll
all
say
right.
this. So
Go ahead,
we were talking about this earlier, but I'm very familiar with this and that family of, I'll call it medication. You don't fuck yourself up, kind. Like, you know. Here's some lore. Okay, Phenibut is a Russian-born
Oh.
research chemical, I believe.
Oh, it's not a
and
natural plant, is it?
It's no, it's synthetic all the way.
Let me clarify real quick. It's completely legal in the United States, by the way.
Yeah.
It's completely illegal.
It's sold as a supplement. It's a psychoactive. It's a drug. Okay, so it's a Russian-made gabapentinoid, and it's adjacent family of drugs that be
Pentoid.
used to treat narcolepsy. It may be used as a tranquilizer. Maybe used as anti-anxiety medication for epilepsy. You know, all of that stuff. It works on the nervous system.
Okay.
Long story short, you're gonna fuck yourself up, kind of. And if you're gonna do this recreationally, do it like twice a week at most.
Twice a week? Okay.
At
All
most.
right. So what if I have a long week at work and I don't take it during the work week because that's usually when I'm on a pretty good regimen. Then on the weekend, I'm laying out at the pool, take one and chill out. That's pretty normal,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Talk to
recreational
people,
doses will
socialize,
go
have a
up
few
to
drinks.
recreational
Because
time.
I am getting reliant on it. You're right. It has helped me out with my work day and stuff
Yeah,
like
dude.
that. And but I've looked at them as like Flintstone vitamins. You know, you just take your
Don't do
vitamin.
that.
You take your
Do not
No.
underestimate
Look, I'm
them.
just
Do not
gonna say this,
underestimate.
right? More, if you want to relax, you should do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, you call up Millie Bobby Brown, and then she'll know the right things to relax you with.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm not commenting on that, but I have serious issues, especially since I dated someone that had one, with weed pens. I think they're the adult what are those called? the binkies or whatever. Like it's an
Binky.
adult pacifier are those weed pens that everyone has now that are all the rage, where it's some sort of THC that's in these pens. And I'm like, oh my God, that's pathetic that you need something like that to function. It's just embarrassing. You can't even work like a normal human being, and you don't see how reliant you are. And it's like, yeah, it relaxes me though. It's like you need to be relaxed by something because you keep taking it over and over. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So maybe that's what I'm doing with this. I'm just kind of like, yeah, but it relaxes me, but I'm taking them. They're creating that effect that makes me need them. So I guess it's an addiction, really.
But the dangerous thing about it is it very much kind of acts on the body similarly to alcohol, except it doesn't have the toxicity of alcohol, nor does it have the nausea unless you go really hard on it. So you can often get really carried away.
Well, it kind of also is a super drug in that sense, because I went out, I had quite a few drinks last night and I was on it, and I feel fine today. And I didn't feel that drunk either. So it helps you out in that sense too. So I don't want to encourage it or anything, but it's completely legal and it's not going to kill you. But it turns out it seems like it's just a good social drug, maybe. I don't know.
It removes all anxiety, and so not many people know this, but everyone has like a kind of base level anxiety. And when you remove that in its entirety, you actually get euphoria as a result.
Okay.
And alongside that, like with this, it'll remove all your inhibitions. So, like, if someone brought up the idea of like robbing a bank, you may very well be like, yeah, let's do it.
That's actually true. Okay, I have seen some of that. That is, I have felt similarly, just a little more agreeable. All right, well, no, that hasn't quite happened yet, but
yeah, Adon.
Sorry, that was a little bit of a slip there, but all right, more to stay tuned on that. Stay tuned on that. So, and something I did notice yesterday, just to kind of move things along a little bit here, and I know Tyson said something that also surprised me before we got on, is that I think we have a spring season appreciator in this podcast. And
I do.
I'll just go on real quick. I hate spring. It's the worst season. It's an embarrassing
major L.
So,
major L.
Yeah. Why is that?
Spring is like the dawn of the
dawn
seasons,
is
right?
dawn.
No. Spring is like the metaphysical dawn of like Earth, right?
You live in New Zealand. It's not the same.
We have spring as well. Are you retarded?
I know, but your spring is like Walmart spring.
Isn't it just warm there all the time?
No. We have like all 4 seasons. But I was just saying, people that enjoy summer over spring I find it hard to take their opinion seriously, because spring is like so much better.
What? Excuse. First off, that's something that pasty people say, because summer is obviously where you start getting the good sun. It fulfills you a lot better than spring. Spring is like, oh, it's not winter anymore. Aren't you excited for summer? Well, you gotta wait.
Dude,
you gotta wait an extra month.
It gets so fucking hot during summer. It's I can't even be like fucking bothered doing anything. But in spring,
have all that extra body mass. Yeah,
it's temperate. It's breezy. It's not too cold. Flowers are like starting to bloom up. It's beautiful. Like, what more do you need?
No. I'd rather just go straight from winter to summer. I don't need some halfway season with no discernible qualities. In the fall, you have a very different crisp feeling that settles in nicely, where you can put on your favorite hoodie, and Halloween's coming and the leaves are changing. In spring, it's just it's not winter, it's not summer.
You know what's funny?
The pollen comes out. Oh.
I get more depressed from fucking autumn than I do from winter, because with autumn it's like you can see like the death of plants and like the world around you. But in winter you're like, well, I'm already dead, so it doesn't matter, right? So it's like
no, fall is the best season.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's
your opinion on this? No,
I like colder seasons for sure. I like short days. I like depressing, miserable nights. I like nature dying all around me, so I can siphon its energy.
Common British
Dude,
W.
That's such a fucking British thing to say. Like,
I like siphoning. I like siphoning the energy of dead plants around.
You actually enjoy the sun going down at 5 p.m.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes.
Dude,
are you
I
kidding?
get so fucking angry when the sun does that. I
get angry.
Start
you get angry
seething.
at the sun.
When what?
When this goes down at 5 p.m. during winter.
I can
like,
just
are you
picture Tyson
fucking
standing
serious?
outside. He's like, grrr, with his fist clenched and everything.
No, I like that the sun goes down earlier in the winter because summer it gives you longer days. But in the winter, when it's sunny and cold out, that's kind of depressing. But when it's cold in nighttime, that's brisk. I like that.
Dude,
You know, that adds to the coldness, the loneliness of it.
During summer in New Zealand, the sun doesn't set till like fucking 10 p.m. sometimes, and it's so comfy.
Well, apparently it's not comfy. You like spring more. You like spring more. So why are you saying that?
Yeah, but nighttime in summer is like the spring of the daytime.
What? I follow what you're saying. I just think it's a really, really funny way to put it. So, you got me laughing. That's not bad at all. So, okay.
I think we should just enter another ice age, to be honest.
Yeah, we could.
Just move to
I mean, we
Scotland.
might be if you believe in if you're part of some sort of cult that believes that we're influencing the atmosphere, we might be getting that sooner than you think. But the official ranking is fall, summer, winter, spring. Spring is a non-entity.
Number one.
Spring doesn't even happen. Spring doesn't even. Yeah, the fall is getting warmed up. You know what? Whoever's listening to this, can you please say something below it? Come on. Like, we don't ask you to do much, but please
true
comment
intellectuals
below.
will put a major W for spring in chat. So yeah.
I think it's like that meme. It's like my children will say this. Haha, no, my child will. No, but seriously, well-informed people that think on a higher level on this podcast that listen to this podcast.
I'm glad both of us agree that summer is number one. That's good.
But I thought you said
I don't
better
agree
than
that.
summer.
I don't think summer is number one.
It is, yeah.
You just said summer was number one.
No, I said I'm glad both of us agree that summer isn't number one.
Isn't. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're right. We could find ways to come together in our differences.
I think of like summer as like the beta version of spring. Spring's like summer 2.0, essentially.
See, that's okay.
What?
All right. I made my point clear. Yeah, I know. Well, I said summer 2.0, but it comes before summer. That's a good point.
Yeah, the fuck you on about?
The early access version.
Watch how the spring enjoyer recoils. I'm sorry, I don't want to expose too much there. So, you mentioned it, Tyson. Since we're talking about the climate in your area, is something going on with your prime minister over there? I know you mentioned Jacinda a few times. Is something else going on over there with the new prime minister?
I'll save it for another episode.
Oh, okay. You're not ready to jump in that rabbit hole. So.
No, it's just not the right vibe for it. You know, it's more of a summer vibe. That type of topic.
All right, fair enough. So I got something that's been digging at me for a little bit, and I've been getting little cat fights over it with a few different people, but and I think Ari might have a word or two to say. And first off, the theater I saw it at was abhorrent. Just people acting like animals. It was very difficult.
I've seen that. You guys in America have the most fucked up audiences. It's unbelievable.
I'm really wondering how people act in movies in different countries. I actually almost got a movie when I was in.
They don't say anything. They just like watch it and leave.
You hear laughs and giggles and like
people of all cultures.
Everyone, they just don't
sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
God, we have such a problem in this country.
Dude, when I come to America, you better bring me to like the most ghetto fucking cinema. I want to see that.
I got one. Dude, I got one on deck, dude.
When Rush Hour 4 comes out, for one, we're obviously going to see the premiere. But we're also going to go into like the fucking Bronx or some shit and
let's go. What the fuck?
Should I watch it again?
Let's fucking
go. Both ends of the Rush Hour enjoyer spectrum there, and we'll be on the spectrum ourselves. So what I was leading into was I saw the Mario movie.
Same.
What an embarrassing piece of branded corporate extras. There was nothing. It was nothing. And you guys, people kept telling me, if you're a Mario fan, you'll enjoy it. I enjoy Mario. It was one of the first games I played. I play Kaizo Mario. I play the most autistic version of Mario you can possibly play. And this movie sucked.
So before you continue, I just want to say, as I was watching it, the only thing I thought, like as I was watching it, every embarrassing moment I witnessed, I was just thinking, I wonder how Moyo was seething about this.
Oh, dude, I was
different noises you made.
was there were some
a
noises,
theater full of
some
kids.
groans and grumbles. Look, I always get popcorn and chocolate chip cookie dough and a Coke to get me through any movie I see. I needed it big time. I'm lucky I had a few drinks before I saw it, because that movie it tried to be everything at once in Mario instead of focusing on, dude, the scene where they come up on the castle and it looks like the N64 Mario. I'm like, this is really cool. And there's like, okay, next scene, you know, here's Mr. Koopa going rah, 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 and like all this shit, you know, it's ridiculous.
The Mario Kart, the kart stuff was so unnecessary.
It was so shoehorned in. So if you just focused on one cohesive Mario 64 story or Galaxy story or Luigi's Mansion story, it would have been fine. But it's like, no,
Galaxy.
It's leave it up to these people that don't know how to properly express their brands. They just show all of it at once. Just everything you like. Here, all of it is.
I'm convinced. Miyamoto was held at gunpoint. Like he's probably in tears over this.
What? Because they finally found the leverage on him where he's molesting a child. Dude, that guy will be found out as a child molester before he dies.
Yeah,
yes,
Miyamoto and fucking Mr. Rogers. You just know.
No, Mr. Get that. Leave right now. That is an unserious statement. You do not mean that, Mr.
Okay,
Rogers.
I'll sub out Mr. Rogers with the guy from Blue's Clues, because you just know with that guy as well.
No, Steve is the king as well. Steve, Joe, and even the guy, the Southeast Asian looking guy they got now.
Post World War II American disdain for the Japanese.
Actually, I saw something interesting about the Mario film. I saw a lot of conservatives were saying it was doing well because it was anti-woke. So let me ask you, is it anti-woke?
It was anti-woke in the sense that it didn't have a preachy message, but they're trying to make. Oh,
come on! Are you joking me? It wasn't. Are they blind? Like, since when was Peach is supposed to be a damsel in distress? It's and in this, she's what, like the protagonist?
Well, look, I don't want to splay out like an octopus in 8 different directions of why I hated this movie, but that was one of the reasons. And I don't care that she was powerful and did whatever, but Mario wasn't even a hero in that movie. You know, maybe he realized it after sitting towards the end where he finally, anytime he ever won was when he had a power up. He didn't even, what did he find in himself? Nothing. He wasn't even a hero.
They made him a child as well.
Wow. You see, you're finding new ways for me to hate this movie.
Yeah, so I've got a list of things here, okay? So
all right, go ahead.
The Super Mario movie Red Pills, and I'm just going to brush through them real quickly. Okay. So at the beginning of the movie, early on, we get the programming of manual humiliation rituals by the Stacy being Peach.
I know that one.
The manlet jokes in this movie are just
based,
just unparalleled, okay? And like
what the
it speaks for itself.
For that.
We see Bowser is a coping boomer cell trying to power star Max to beta bucks his one-nighter Stacy. So Bowser is a 35-year-old balding boomer, and he's trying to get his 18-year-old trad wife, right? So he's trying to achieve this by achieving status and gathering resources.
And you guys get angry at me when I use buzzwords, right?
He's trying to conquer other powers and all that to try and, you know what I'm getting at here. Toad is a true cell just a maxer. So Toad is a true incel, but he doesn't want to admit it. So he copes in like basically being a clown to try and get the attention of Stacy, which is of course Peach. He is a true simp through and through. He would probably subscribe to her OnlyFans. He put his life on the line.
The whole kingdom are simps. Absolutely. Yeah.
Donkey Kong BBC Mog. So the entire like Donkey Kong nation, it's just full of Giga Chads. They're all based.
I can't, dude. You're just going all the way. So I'm letting this go.
You got Donkey Kong, but then like as he entered the kingdom, you literally had like this like blonde, blue-eyed like Donkey Kong monkey, like basically Chad caricature in like monkey form, and he's like riding this go-kart around with like Peach on the back to like take on me, and it's like they knew exactly what they're doing. The other thing, it was overly self-indulgent in its nostalgia pandering. God, they couldn't help themselves.
That was probably so as I wade through that internet manosphere coded segment by you, I have one question. What is a jester maxer? And I regret asking this.
A jester maxer is someone who basically puts puts themselves through like some clown humiliation like ritual to try and get the positive attention of the opposite sex. So
So a
like
bit
they'll basically
self-deprecating. Okay.
self-deprecating to the point
Class
of
clown,
humiliation,
right?
and it's not
Mhm.
a case of they're laughing with you; they're laughing at you. Your presence is a hilarity to them. You go home sad, and they go home not even remembering you exist.
You know, those
It's like that
overly
one kid. It's that one
Yeah.
kid in school who just wouldn't shut the fuck up saying the same joke over and over again. Like he's the kid in school who'll like eat some shit out of a bin to make someone laugh. You know?
Yes. So you
Oh,
know
yeah.
those overly serious YouTube I don't want to call them documentaries or narrations or the outlines where some guy with a fake British accent is saying like, oh, the redundancy of Barney season 2, and they talk for 40 minutes about the deeper levels and a Spider-Man movie or some stupid shit. You should do a video like that where you start off kind of serious and then you just say things like this, just like coded internet looks.
Okay, so I have something to admit. I have three full length like 5,000 word scripts of different animes that start off serious like that and then devolve into pure schizophrenia.
I kind of like that actually. That's higher level thinking, where people
It starts off serious. It goes into like some like real shit. Like I'll spoil one. It was about like Mob Psycho 100, which is like very psychological. It deals with trauma and stuff, and like has elements of like stoicism and all of this metaphysical stuff going on. So like I started off referencing that, and then as I got deeper and deeper, I started going into like the metaphysical meaning of an old man eating a hot dog in a dark and dry cave.
Okay.
Like
Thank you.
it just gets weird. Anyway, so the Mario stuff. I have one last thing to say.
Okay.
So the entire premise of this movie, right, was a pit bull with a black woman owner. The pit bull chimping out was the cause of an interdimensional underground stargate in New York, teleporting in reptilian Cooper aliens just to attack a fat Italian manlet with a disappointed father and a hype-mogging younger brother.
Okay, so this is your
By the way,
Ari, everybody. So.
By the way, I don't want to hear a single word from any of you guys ever again about me using internet words like Kino.
Listen, this is his segment to say these words people supposedly like when he talks like this, so I'm just letting it go. I'm letting it go. But I'll reel it back to the real world where people use full sentences with legible words that are commonly used and say, this was the most... Excuse,
what the fuck was that?
He's like banging pots and pans together like a preschooler.
I dropped my
He's
my
like,
phone
oh,
on the
look
floor.
at this. Why did it make it sound like you were hitting a pan?
Yeah, right.
What was that? It was a gong or something. So this was the most. This movie was a commercial. It was an hour-long YouTube video commercial. It was bland, effortless, and people were trying to do the whole but at least it looked good and it was a visual feast. Finding Nemo, which was made 20 years ago, looked better than that. Most Pixar movies look better than that.
I read
Sonic was a better movie because it was focused on something, anything at all.
I read something interesting about the Mario film. Right? Apparently,
go ahead.
If you compare the recent Mario film and Ready Player One, they're exactly the same film in the sense that both of them only have like references to other like fictional material as like the base of their own film. Like all they can do is reference other things. Yeah.
I'm cool with it. I know all this Mario shit. I saw all the reference in there. Who can't? What? There was barely even any of that was engaging enough. Oh, there's King Boo. There's the Bomb guy. Okay.
There's the Luma. There's the woman from Jump King. And
yeah, it just was so, and it's just like the movie wasn't. There were intentionally parts where said, okay, here's the part that's going to look like a video game, and they'll just do it, and then the sequence is over. And it's like, was he trying to please his dad? Was it issues with his brother? Was it about work? It was about some random guy in glasses that said, "Why'd you leave my company?" So is there economic commentary here on wage disparity? Like, what am I even watching? What am I even looking at? It's such an embarrassing.
They like
movie.
They gave Mario like a real like human world identity. I really, really wish like they like threw a curveball in there. It's like Mario turned out to be a Roman Catholic, like a devout one.
That
Like,
would
how
be
sick would that have been?
What
He's an
if Mario
Italian.
prayed? What if Mario prayed? It's like, and
Dude,
here
you know
we
what's
go.
you know what's
Amen.
funny? You know what the funny thing is?
But
Mhm.
This Mario film has just crossed $500 million. Something that some other film will never be able to do.
Yeah, well, Dungeons and Dragons was so many miles ahead of this shit can because at least it focused on something. But consumers are too stupid to know what they want. So just make them a bunch of shiny stoplight colored films that go red, green, yellow over and over, and then that's it.
they didn't really set
That's all you
themselves
want.
up for like a they didn't really set themselves up to like save themselves as a sequel either, because they spilled all of their beans and all their references in one big splooge.
Seriously.
And it's
But
like,
that's
at
the-
least with
yeah.
Sonic, right? I was prepared to say, like, because I don't think the first Sonic movie was that great. I was prepared to say maybe Mario could be better than that. But like, holy shit, like the Sonic 2 movie mogs the fucking flying shit out of this film.
Absolutely.
I feel like in a decade, because you just know, like, both Sonic and Mario movies are going to be milked to shit. I think
Mhm.
Sonic is definitely going to be seen as like the kind of Marvel Infinity Saga kind of thing, and Mario is going to be seen as like the constantly failing, like Justice League, like kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, it might be.
Using
but
that analogy, who's the Zack Snyder of the Mario verse?
we haven't gotten that far along yet. I don't think there's going to be any Christ allegories with Mario and Luigi.
I do think one thing that
We'll
I think there is one good. I think there's one way Nintendo and Miyamoto can redeem himself, and I'm dead serious in this. I want to see a Ghibli style, faithful and soulful Legend of Zelda movie.
I'm so those games age so poorly. I don't even care
It doesn't
anymore.
need to. They can find a wholesome story. If it was A Link to the Past, I just know you'd suck it off.
Because we're all Link's Awakening or Wind Waker.
Or
But yeah, you
Link's
were close.
Awakening would be a great Ghibli movie.
Yes, and you know what? At least that would be a movie with a focus, unlike the
Yeah,
Mario
exactly.
movie. But the thing that bothers me is all these like neurotic sphere, like, oh, we just want everyone to get along. We're not right leaning, like just kind of reactionary YouTube channels are so excited about this Mario movie because critics said they hated it, but audiences like it. You are excited over shoveling shit. Like, can you please at least acknowledge it's not a good movie that is making money? It's okay to say that critics don't like it and it is also not a good movie, but that's okay. People just want to go see a movie.
They're just
and
interested in
that's
sucking their own cocks.
there you go.
Like, I mean, let's be okay. One thing, okay, if Nintendo really just want to fucking get a movie out there and have it be a fucking movie and let everyone know that as a really fucking good movie, just make a Majora's Mask movie. I promise that will go down as actual Kino. Even
you
Tyson
can't start
will like
with that. That storyline's too complicated to start with. You
Yeah,
gotta
that's
start
like the
it easy
fucking
with Ganon
Infinity
and
War.
stuff.
No,
That's like
Majora's
Infinity
Mask doesn't
War.
have Ganon. Majora's Mask is literally its standalone story. That's why it's perfect.
I know,
for
that's what I'm saying. When you do a Zelda movie, you got to start off easy with just Ganon and Zelda and Link. You know, you
Yeah,
can't
but
do Majora's Mask with
can be like
yeah.
psychological and like deep and
yeah. People aren't ready for that. People want Bing Bing Wahoo in their fucking faces.
You need a
with
Fellowship
Take
in the
on
Ring
Me.
first before you get to the Return of the King, which was
Yeah,
Majora's
you're right.
Mask.
Yeah, but that's just another case of consumers just being retards.
They
Can we
are
just say
idiots.
fuck
They
the
don't even know
consumers?
what they want because then when yes, you can because they don't know what they want and they think they do. And if you give it to them, they'll act like petulant children anyways. They deserve 1,000 more Mario movies until they fucking die. That's the way it goes.
You see how Marvel movies like actually degraded. You look, watch Iron Man 1 and 2 and compare that to like the end of the MCU movies.
Mhm.
You see how much
Oh, yeah.
how much more soul was in Iron Man early on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the craft.
before the fucking mouse bought MCU, right?
What's that?
Yeah, they might have bought it shortly after that Iron Man. I don't know if they owned Marvel at the time. I think it was published separately. I don't know exactly the timing of that, but
Yeah.
I'll just say two things real quick. The fact that they had a full catalog of incredible recognizable Mario songs and still chose to put in the most milquetoast, like they might be just public media at this point that aren't even covered by intellectual property songs like Take on Me. It was like Guardians of the Galaxy
that was
soundtrack and a
weird.
Mario. That was so lazy, but that's just Japanese bullshit. Like, oh, Americans like this song.
I don't
this
think it
song
was
in. It's
Japanese.
like-
I genuinely think
I
there's
don't
some
know,
Hollywood fuckery
stupid.
going on.
Yeah, so that was stupid, but there was something very interesting that I read that was the reasoning why Mario was the way he was in this movie, and how they weirdly skated around that it was a video game but didn't put too much focus on the actual video game elements, was because they think that there are people that want to elevate the Mario brand and character beyond being a video game character. They want to make him larger than a video game character. So that's why the movie was framed like this. I think it's stupid, but I thought it was an interesting point. I thought it was an interesting point and explained a lot of why they did what they did with Mario in this movie and the cast of characters around him. I could do a whole episode on why this movie was so bad. And I have people that are like, they liked that it was just an Easter egg hunt. It was just an hour-long Easter egg hunt.
More famous than Mickey Mouse. He is probably the most famous character like in the world, like period.
You know what's interesting? You know, the most I was reading this and it might be different now, but I think it was kind of recently. The most famous brand in the world, or IP, is Pokemon. Is the most famous brand in the world.
What,
I think that's
over
really
fucking
interesting.
Coca-Cola, really?
I think in like a creative property type of way, like creative entertainment property, like Pokemon is the most
I can see that.
brand in the
Pokemon
world.
has like really big recognition.
Pikachu.
I think Pokemon's sick. Dude, Pokemon's, I mean, all the new ones suck, obviously.
No, I got to put that
Pokemon,
behind you.
yeah.
Pokemon was never good. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know what?
We're
I'm gonna
gonna
come out on a limb and say Detective Pikachu was comfy. It wasn't good, but it was
Think
comfy.
about it this way. A brand just as recognizable as Mario, where they actually had a succinct story that functioned on its own and had a logical start and end point that was engaging and interesting, instead of just let's go in 20 different directions and then hope it all comes together at the end. Don't even worry about it. So yeah, Detective Pikachu was Citizen Kane compared to Super Mario Brothers. I mean, that was horrible. There are children's cartoons, like an episode of Teen Titans had more depth than this whole entire Super Mario Bros. And people say, "Oh, well, you don't want that." I'm like, all these stupid kids Pixar movies at least have something to activate your mind, to have a narrative in front of you to digest. Mario didn't even have that. It didn't even do the bare minimum.
How do you think like a Metroid horror movie would go?
See, you could do all of that stuff, and I'm sure they opened the door wide open. But
movie.
Also, you shouldn't personalize Samus. She shouldn't have.
What about a Pink Boys travel show?
Okay. Do we kill ourselves at the end like Anthony Bourdain?
Yeah, we get cuckolded by fucking our wife who sleeps with like a 17-year-old, and then we kill ourselves.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
To Anthony Bourdain?
Yep.
No. All right, I got some good. Hold on. Do I have a notepad here? There's something I said earlier that I need to go. Oh, the Coca-Cola. Hold on, let me write this down. Okay, so Pepsi anti-Semitism. I got homework for next week. Pepsi anti-Semitism and Anthony Bourdain wife child molester. Okay.
Oh, speaking of Pepsi, I'm gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna blow $75 and buy a 12-pack of Nitro Pepsi.
What? And this is the part where you vlog yourself drinking it for me.
Yep.
Okay.
What's Nitro Pepsi?
So you know how normal soda is carbonated with carbon dioxide? They did it this time with nitrogen. So apparently it's like way smoother than like regular Pepsi.
Oh, good Lord.
I think I want Pepsi to be carbonated though. That's kind of strange.
No, it still tastes carbonated, but it's like a different gas. So apparently it's different.
Interesting.
You know, come to think of it, why doesn't the carbon dioxide asphyxiate you? Well, I guess it's not enough.
Are you talking about like in? Are you talking about like in movies?
Are you serious?
No,
what if it's? Go ahead.
If you want something niche, why not like carbonate drinks with like helium? Like imagine the commercials for that.
There's got to be some health issues there.
Can't you like fucking commit suicide by inhaling helium or some shit?
Yes, you can. I almost accidentally did that.
Doesn't it choke your brain?
By accident. Yeah, so I did that a little too much, and like I started fading out. Actually, I did fade out actually, and I woke up feeling retarded.
Dude, if you guys ever come to New Zealand, I'll get you guys to huff some fucking nitrous oxide. That shit's so big down here.
No, I think I'm good. I don't need to go to New Zealand to do whippets. Okay,
one of my best mates from school. Yeah, I remember he was telling me when he did that for the first time. I was talking to him as he was doing it, and he was telling me how he was watching Cars, and he hit it just as Lightning McQueen was saying "ka-chow," and he kept sending me just like the letter H over and over again. And then like when he came to
It's kinda
when he
funny.
came to B, he was like, "Dude, I just heard Lightning McQueen say "ka-chow" like over and over again for the last like however long it lasted."
That's pretty funny. I thought you were trying to say because you were saying how's it safe to drink carbonation? I thought you were playing on in movies where people they're connected to like a blood transfusion thing, and the way like hitmen get them is by putting some air in it. And when that piece of air gets to their wrist, that's when they die because it gets in their bloodstream for some reason. I don't know how it works. I thought you were trying to like play at that, like when we drink carbonated Pepsi, like the gas bubbles kill us or something. That's what I thought you were saying. But never mind. We're on different wavelengths on that one. But I will say, and I have the capability of having this nuanced conversation. So I'm interested to see if you guys do as well. There is, and speaking of drinks, a popular alcoholic beverage in America that's been under scrutiny lately called Bud Light, because they hired a spokesperson for a 1-minute ad campaign, and I think was on a few of their cans possibly. That's caused some controversy because this is a person who identifies as a woman who still has a guy's name for some reason, named Dylan Mulvaney. So Tyson has something to say about this. So Tyson, you go ahead, and then I'll do the actual opinion. That's probably smarter than what you're about to say.
We probably have the same opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm actually really for this. It's fucking based that this is happening.
Why is that?
Look, I'm not gonna pretend that, you know, he doesn't look disgusting. It's obviously like a man in a dress. It's like a delusional, like mentally ill person.
I think he's a pretty clean-cut man.
He is a man. I'll give you that. He is a man.
But biologically.
But here's why this is a good thing, right? For the past few decades, we've seen fucking these boomers sit by and be complacent as society has been destroyed, and they say, "Oh, I just want to grill. I just give me my grill and I'm fine. I just want to chill. I just want to be left alone." And they don't do anything. They sit by while all this legislation is passed, and they are just doing nothing. And you know what? Now, after this fucking after all the things that's happened, this is what really gets them riled up. Really, a fucking trans person on Bud Light. This is what gets you up in arms. Seriously. So these boomers, they fucking deserve every single. I hope Coors Light. I hope every single thing that these people buy has like Dylan Mulvaney on it. I want him to be plastered everywhere. These people don't deserve anything at all.
Well, I think you're bringing up a good point, because a lot of people say the big one that they like to do is, and the popular phrase is the revolution doesn't end when you say it does, or where you feel comfortable with it ending.
Yeah.
Is people like to add disclaimers where they say, I'm fine with it, just don't do it in front of my kids. I'm fine with it, just don't do it here. I'm fine with it, just, it's like, do you think their ideology cares? Do you think their perspective on gender cares where you think you want it to end? That's not how it works, my friend. And you think by being disengaged that you still have a say on where it ends. You do not. You do not. You gave that up. You voted for people. You've contributed an economy. You've done whatever you've done through your actions and exercising of your wallet and vote has led to this. And it's not going to stop just because you're sitting back and saying no now.
It kind of reminds me of like those guys that, let's go back like 5 years ago. Those guys that just learned about fractional reserve banking, and they're like, "Oh no," and then they're like, "I'm going to short SPY," and then they fuck themselves over like that. No, it has to, dude. The system's corrupt, dude. It's a house of cards. Like
I did that in college, where I bought some gold shares because I said, "Oh, any day now." You know, that was years ago. Any day now.
So,
Glenn
why?
Beck said
Because
so.
I just learned about this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting though.
Dude, like what really triggered me was after this Bud Light shit happened, you see like fucking Kid Rock and all these like these boomer conservatives posting videos on their social media of them like shooting up a box of like Bud Lights, and I'm like, this is all you're ever going to be able to do. You're so fucking pathetic that you don't have the balls to take any legislative action. All you can do is like post a shitty video on your social media. So you deserve this and far worse.
Yeah, that's pretty well put, Tyson. And I don't think there's people who I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. So those are the same people who sit back and say, "Well, I'm all right with people being gay, or I'm all right with this, or I'm all right with that," but it ends here. It ends with Dylan Mulvaney on the Bud Light can. It's like, no, that's not
Yeah.
how it works. I'm
Just like-
sorry, you know. You don't get to decide which form of, and I'm going to be careful with this. You don't get to decide, you know, gender spectrum and progressivism and which left leaning things you're fine to let pass into culture or not. I'm sorry, this is a decision that you've made, and you're going to have to deal with it. That's why I hate libertarians.
Narcissism at play.
It's so funny,
Well
like like their entire nation is just like being destroyed around them, and then like the minute like Dylan Mulvaney hops in their Bud Light, they're like, "What the? Our country's being destroyed!" Like after like 3 decades of that shit.
Welcome to a new kind of tension.
I love how that's what
Across
gets.
the alien nation.
Yeah, I love not like the extreme, almost caste system levels in India, wage disparity that we're having in this country, and like economic crisis of people barely being able to afford roofs over their head, living paycheck to paycheck. And the boomers are like, "Y'all hear something?" And when Dylan Mulvaney gets on the Bud Light can, it's like, "Oh my gosh!" You know, and you know what's another thing that's kind of emblematic of it? I thought it was interesting. I actually watched it right before we got on. That guy James O'Keefe from Project Veritas, which now has his own thing called OMG Group. He's following Dylan Mulvaney around the hotel saying like, "What do you think about trans people doing this? What do you think about trans people doing that?" And Dylan Mulvaney, he handles it incredibly well. He doesn't say a single word. He just goes on, checks in the hotel, and moves on from it. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of like a broader image of how conservatives try and handle these things. They think they're engaging with them by saying like, "Oh, this and that," but you're not really doing anything at all. Dylan's like, "Yep, okay, cash the check, cash in the hotel, or check into the hotel."
Kill Dylan, cashing in the bag.
Yeah. So I've said this to you before, Tyson, but Dylan Mulvaney is the final boss theater kid. Like he is like the giga level, like Final Fantasy IX boss of like whatever like the gigas like elder tier theater kid is that we've all known from our own high schools. Dylan Mulvaney is that, and he's taken it all the way to the finish line, and I just give him credit at this point. I give him complete credit.
Some say he is patient zero for homosexuality.
I don't get that actually, but
he's the source, like he's the root cause.
Oh, the primordial soup. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm quite on board with that statement specifically, but hey, he's using what he's got. He's taking it to the finish line, and conservatives are just sitting back angry about it. So keep going. And I don't drink Bud Light. Who cares about any of that stuff?
Yeah, why don't you shoot more cans of Bud Light, Kid Rock, you fucking loser.
Beer is for losers. I'm just gonna say that.
I have to agree. I'm sorry. Yeah,
such a fucking man, like a masculine. Fuck. It's just cope. Okay.
It makes you fat. It really does, and it does give you man boobs. It tastes
like shit, and it's just
Plus,
like you're a
it's
man.
like,
it's like I don't give a fuck if I'm not a man.
It's like you have to drink like 5 or 6 beers to get like to get a good buzz going. When you could just like down like a fucking 3 shots of vodka in like 1 second and then have the same effect.
Oh, well, I disagree with that because people who this sounds stupid the way it comes out of my mouth, but I'll just say it and don't be a literalist about it. But people who drink to get drunk, I don't agree with that sentiment. That's why I think people who take shots are low class. Actually, I think taking shots is a low caste system attribute where it's the cheapest thing you could do that gets you the most drunk. When people who are socializers, they want to drink and have cocktails and see that elevation of how conversation changes and morphs as they all drink with their friends. You know what I mean?
I'm
as
half
opposed
with
to
you.
showing up. Yeah,
I do enjoy cocktails. I love my gin and tonics and other cocktails like mojitos and shit. But anything else, if people are drinking beers and shit, I'm just gonna down some shots just so I can get on the same buzz as them. You know.
See, I don't think you need to do that, Tyson. You're good the way
you are.
No,
I think Tyson's right because at the same time, if you're drinking like shitty stuff like beer, you're also like calorically filling yourself up as well. Like you're actually doing a lot more harm to yourself. Like it's just worse off for you in every single conceivable way. For something that doesn't even taste good. Like what the fuck? Like why are you doing this? You know?
Yeah, that's I can't look at it from a taste or drunkenness perspective. I just know if I drink a lot of beers, I will get man breasts, and
Yeah.
that's enough for me to not have it. I'm a seltzer cocktail guy.
Also,
and I'll
beer
just stick
doesn't
to
even
that.
taste that fucking good anyway. Like it's average at
I think
best.
that's overblown. I think that's overblown. Actually, I do think that beer does generally. I think it tastes so different from things that you usually drink day to day that I do think it tastes good. What beer
Red
tastes
wine
bad to you
jazz.
then? What's a beer that tastes like again like Keystone Light, Bud Light? Yeah, I wouldn't drink that shit. That's stuff you drink in college. If you're still drinking that as an adult man, yeah, something's wrong with you. You didn't get out of that social strata.
The only beers
But
I can stand are something with like a lot of citrus in it, because that
do you
masks
like
like the
Heineken
fucking...
or
No, I hate that shit.
Corona? Do you guys have Coronas? I like
Corona,
Coronas.
if I cram like 3 lemons inside that, then maybe.
Limes or lemons?
Either one.
Okay, because usually it's just limes here. I've never heard of lemons going in there, but okay, yeah. There's some room to move there, but yeah, I like when I do have beers, I like sour ones and stuff like that. But I'm
Don't
not a
like
beer
any of it.
connoisseur.
Red wine all the way.
Yeah, what do you aren't you supposed to like a pint? I found myself wanting beer a lot more when I was overseas. Actually, it felt right,
Really?
to have
That
a
was
pint
probably
with
just
the
like a
lads.
cultural thing for you, yeah.
You're right. It was a moment where I'm like, oh well, I'm better have a pint, and talk to this. It's so funny when I was at a bar in Edinburgh and there was some British guy there who was talking to me, and he looked like such a caricature, like short, busted teeth with glasses, lived in like Dover or something. I don't even know what it was called.
Dover's
Somewhere
lovely.
south. Yeah, he was just somewhere around there. And he's like, yeah, when I can't even do a British accent, but the way he, instead of saying his house, he said his mortgage. I didn't know that's like the terminology people use.
No
When I
one,
got a mortgage,
no one calls that house the mortgage.
yeah, he was saying something like that. I don't know. Maybe real British people that aren't I can clarify that one for me. But I'm
No,
tailing
I
off. I'm tailing off. And Tyson, I thought it was a minefield talking about Dylan Mulvaney, but you handled yourself well, and I'm proud of you. So that's a gold. When you get like 6 gold stars, you ever see that one online where it's a husband that gets gold stars from his wife, and when he gets 5 gold stars, he gets a blowjob or something.
Every 5 gold stars, I get to say the word Kino.
Yeah,
Kino.
exactly. Exactly. You get to say Kino. So this time flew magnificently, and I had fun talking to you guys. So I'll leave it up. I'm ready. I'm ready to head out. So anything else on your guys' mind before we let go? No.
Millie, if you ever hear this, call me.
Okay. She looks like she does have a face that's bred to do something like that, though.
Holy shit!
I know. She does have it looks like the way her face is square. It looks like it's built to like rub up against someone's anus. Yeah, built for big butts, I guess. I don't know. So
big butt
all right,
cleaning.
I'll let it. Exactly. The cleaner. Yeah, what do they call her? Like the street sweeper or something? I don't know. I gotta look this up too. Hold on, let me write that down too. Millie Bobby ass eater. Well, at least she's got a promising career in that if she doesn't get many more roles. So you got anything to wrap us up with?
Yeah, do not look up what happened to the guy that invented the water-powered car.
Okay, certain. I'll not do that right away. So my final word that I'll leave people with is, if I'm meeting you for the first time, let me know if you like the Mario movie before we start talking, so I know not to associate with you, because you're just not on the same intellectual level as me. You're probably on something akin to a toddler or a 6-year-old. So I'm good with that. So
The great
until
filter.
next time, Tyson, you got a final word?
Millie, please call me back.
Okay, say with us. All right, I sign us out.